Good evening. My name is Michael Leeser. I am the father of 4 school-age children in the Sully District of Fairfax County. I'm also the Northern Virginia representative of the Family Foundation, which advances policies that promote healthy, flourishing families in our great Commonwealth. And we do that here in Fairfax County through our grassroots network of volunteers that comprise our Speak Up Fairfax team. For those reasons, I'm here this evening to ask you to adopt the Transparency on Student Achievement resolution that our Speak Up director, Susan Otto, has emailed to each of you individually prior to this meeting. Susan would be here herself, but she is ill this evening. Fairfax County public school parents deserve better than a regulation that only addresses parental notification of national merit scholarships. Given the ongoing pattern of a lack of transparency, I request that you expand your existing regulation or pass a clarifying resolution that makes it very clear that you're going to more comprehensively protect transparency to tax-paying parents regarding their own children's academic performance. The school district has expressed that it has a priority of avoiding the stigmatization of any student. To that end, why would you want to continue fostering a climate that makes students who earn merit awards or other forms of academic achievement feel that their progress is something to be ashamed of, to hide, or withhold? Furthermore, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reported that, quote, students of parents engaged in their school lives are more likely to have higher grades and test scores, better student behavior, and enhanced social skills, unquote. If the goal really is to foster student success, then it is in the school district's best interest to keep parents informed. That is why I'm asking you to take immediate action to expand the existing regulation or adopt the recommended resolution. To demonstrate our support, we have launched a petition on behalf of the Transparency on Student Achievement resolution, which will be delivered to you before a forthcoming meeting. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Susan Otto. Susan Otto. Thank you. Our next speaker is Stephanie Lindquist Aurora.
Good evening. There is a transparency problem in FCPS. When I requested my son's social emotional learning lessons, a school administrator informed me that she had been told to punt my request to the FOIA office. 2 months later, and after I paid the $280 fee that FOIA charged me for the curriculum materials, I reviewed his lessons. Within those lessons, among other things, I found instruction on white privilege. These types of lessons are far outside the jurisdiction of what public schools should be teaching. Perhaps this is why FCPS makes parents jump through hoops to get access to curriculum materials. It's ironic that you are celebrating the objectivity and independence of the Office of Auditor General in your most recent resolution. In our experience, this is far from the truth. When I submitted a complaint regarding FOIA fees to access curriculum, a right guaranteed to parents under the Protection of Pupil Rights Amendment, I wasn't surprised when the OAG did not rule in my favor. When I later convened with friends, I learned that some of them had also submitted grievances to that office, which had gone unanswered. Given that the former superintendent, Karen Garza, fired Auditor General Goldie Trump, who found evidence of corrupt contracts in FCPS and now is suing for wrongful termination, perhaps the current internal auditor doesn't feel free to be independent. It's kind of like a cigarette company funding research on lung cancer. Your passing a resolution doesn't increase objectivity. Objectivity is lost when the auditor's livelihood is contingent on your approval of his or her performance. Given that FCPS has a history of firing auditors who find issues, it seems clear that you need an external audit of that $3.5 billion budget, of vendor contracts, and of curricula. Burgeoning FCPS legal fees and lawsuits are indicative of the level of corruption within FCPS and its failure to our students. Transparency extinguishes corruption and can rebuild trust. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Callie Ottinger.
I start coughing right when you guys give me enough time to come up. Well, like a lot of you guys, I also shelved books, and I also found home in the library, and books have already meant a lot to me, but the issue is that they don't mean a lot to a lot of kids. In fact, they're a place of fear. Libraries hurt a lot of kids because they can't read. So I don't believe in censorship. I don't believe in pulling anything away from kids. I think they should be able to explore whatever they want to, but if you can't ensure that they they read, all's lost. What's the point of having the books in the first place? To that point, at the last meeting, Abrar, you asked what we learned about the OCR resolution. What we learned is that Fairfax County's leadership trained an entire county of educators to deny children free, appropriate education. Tamara, you made a point of saying that you thought that Fairfax County had been targeted. Fairfax County wasn't targeted. Children with special education needs were targeted. You took issue and said that something along the lines of, well, we can't do every little thing. Why don't you substitute sexism or racism or anything related to religion into that sentence and see how that sounds? Would you say that, sorry, we messed up, we couldn't get every little thing related to racism or sexism or somebody's religion, but when it comes to disabilities, it's okay? We're going to sit there and we're going to treat them like second citizens? We're not going to do anything? Rashna, thankfully, you brought up civil rights and you brought up IDEA, and I was pleased to hear that you say that. But everybody here needs to remember that special education is a civil right. You have to do it. You can't complain if you don't get money and then spend that money on hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawyers' fees. Doesn't work.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Casey Hoffman Blaylock.
My name is Casey, and I'm the parent of 2 elementary students in the Braddock District. I'm here to let the board and school leadership know how much I appreciate my children's school library program. My son is in kindergarten, and he knows he is always going to take a book home, whether I've forgotten to put some of his books in his backpack or not. I saw a list of the books he had checked out this week. He has 6 books out, and 1 is overdue. He had no idea. They just keep letting him check out because that's how kids begin to love reading. My 3rd grader has a deep love for graphic novels and nonfiction books. I have no idea what she has checked out right now, but I imagine she has about 5 books out about different types of cat breeds. She comments frequently about the research opportunities she receives in her school library. When I think about their library experiences, I'm amazed at how a program can provide such a high level of personalization to my kids. It isn't just my kids, it's all 900 and something. And how they do it. It's so respectful and understanding, even when with all the teaching they have to do. Need some space to work? Sure. Broke your leg and can't do PE? Come on in. Aren't participating in a class activity? Welcome. Need some help? Maybe a book? We can do that. No pressure, but personal and caring, and most of all, respectful to everyone. However, the reason my kids' library can do this is because it has an amazing librarian and a library assistant. The school doesn't qualify for a second librarian based on the SOQs, so we are very lucky to have a long-time, full-time library assistant. Without the assistant, the librarian would not be able to provide these services to my kids and teach my children important information literacy skills while collaborating with teachers to do inquiry projects aligned with SOL standards. April School Library Month. It's time to start staffing all FCPS libraries in a way that allows librarians to teach and be the instructional leaders that they are. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Christine Burden. Christine Burden.
Good evening. I'm Christine Burden, and I'm a parent of 2 kids, both of whom attended kindergarten through high school in Fairfax County. Our son is still currently in the Braddock District, a junior. My topic this evening is equality, and I'm a nurse practitioner. My topic this evening is equality for girls. I'll start with a question. Where is the equity for our girls in the bathrooms and the locker rooms? It is my opinion and thousands of other community members that the safety in the bathrooms went out the door with the adoption of Regulation 2603 by this board in 2020. An example of this is our neighboring Loudoun County, where an opportunist took advantage of regulations like 2603 when a fake gender dysphoric male student sexually assaulted a cisgender girl in her gender assigned at birth bathroom. Is this safe? Where is the equity of understanding for that young woman and others that have not made the news but have a voice on social platforms like Shatter the Silence FCPS. Now, I completely understand that you are trying to look out for the safety, the dignity, and respect for all students, no matter what their orientation is in this world, and that's a very good deed. Regarding the current policies being developed, the draft policy of the strategic plan mentions nourishing a safe environment in Pillar 2. But where is the safety for our girls? The draft equity policy has no mention of our girls' safety and the right to privacy by Title IX. This is mind-boggling that the community is looking the other way. It'll take a lot of hard work, but there are good and reasonable solutions to this problem while respecting the dignity of each person. My question to you, the board, is how can you separate opportunists from the truly suffering gender?
Thank you. Our next speaker is Vanessa Hall.
Hi again, pardon. So few comprehend the extent of accountability and transparency in our public schools. In fact, we parents and guardians have a myriad of rights. We just need to know what they are and how to use them. For example, we can control our child's education within the bounds of regulations and policy, communicate with staff, opt out of surveys, all are part of a curriculum, or even public school altogether. We can also opt in or out of necessary special education support. Parents can serve on citizen communities at local and state levels to provide curriculum and other input. We even get to stand here and speak at school board meetings. Woohoo! And there's so much more. So FCPS regularly posts communications outlining our parental rights. Frankly, I wish more parents would use FCPS as a resource rather than going to third parties. Because if you've ever played a game of telephone as a kid, you kind of remember how distorted messages get as they're passed through third parties and one person and another person and another person. So if you really want real information, you should go directly to your school website or staff. That's honestly what I do. With some groups shouting about parents' rights, the rights of students and educators are getting lost in the mix. Why would you raise the rights of one group over all others? Particularly when parents are not the ones being educated, nor are they the ones doing the educating. Students and teachers are in the school every day. What about their rights? It's critical that students feel safe to succeed academically, and teachers need to feel safe to teach effectively. If we don't protect the rights of educators, then we'll have no teachers to teach, which means when parents are pitted against our schools, we all lose. We, the parents, already have extensive rights in our children's education. We just need to know our rights and exercise them to support education opportunities for each and every student. And I appreciate all your efforts to improve communication and promote cooperation.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mike Nee.
Good evening. As a father of 2 children in FCPS system, I'm deeply concerned and troubled by a few high school principals and leaderships intentionally or accidentally conceal or withhold awards, rewards of our hard-working students. This lack of transparency demoralized and demotivated our high school students, and their chance to get into top-tier college diminished. I'm more concerned our school board a light slap on the wrist over these schools just after an intransparent investigation. I'm more concerned that we pay high property tax in this county, but we got is a degrading and downgrading education quality. Look at all the research from the public media. Fairfax County students, math, English, SAT are falling behind of the Virginia peers. I'm even more concerned that the county board of supervisors decide a massive salary increase up to 40% when the education quality does not match up their performance on the job. School board, I came to this country and this county about 20 years ago from China to pursue a better education, a better life. You let me down. Our school is failing our children with so-called equality over quality when our universities grant more than half of the STEM PhDs to foreign students, many from Asia. And with China is working on the 6G technologies, we are still crawling at the 4G. Our school's still debating to wear skirt or shirt, to debating which bathroom to use. You let me down deeply and completely. But you still have a chance to make a change, adopt the resolution you have reached today from the concerned parents. When you cannot make the children achieve, for God's sake, consider you to leave. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Stephen Tunley. Stephen Tunley. Our next speaker is Greg Deephouse.
Good evening, and I'd like to thank each of you for your work. I'm here tonight. I have two children in Glasgow Middle School, a 6th and a 7th grader, and I'm here on their behalf, as well as I guess the other 2,000 plus students at Glasgow Middle School, to ask you to do something about Glasgow Middle School. It is way too big, it is way too unmanageable, and the safety standards at the school have degraded to a point where many children are not feeling safe at school, my children included, and there are many parents that are considering other options these days. So please, I think it's a #1 thing that the school system needs to address is safety in the school. And when I have a 6th grade son who said, "Dad, I don't feel safe going to school anymore." You know, he used to be at Sleepy Hollow Elementary, wonderful place to learn, felt very safe, wanted to go to school. Now he doesn't want to go to school. He doesn't feel safe in the hallway. There are daily fights at the school. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there are almost daily fighting at the school. There's a there's a rumor amongst the parents at least that a child was going to bring a gun to school. Half the students showed up that day. I ended up picking my kids up early. My son called me. He said, "Dad, I don't feel safe." So please just try and address this. I think the principal is trying to do his best. I'm in a lot of communication with him. I think the teachers are trying to do their best. It's unmanageable. The school's too large. 6th graders should be back in the elementary. Please look at that. Consider doing something about Glasgow Middle School. Again, thank you for your work, but again, please consider the safety standards at this school.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Marilee Gautier.
I'm a little shorter. Good evening, my name is Marilee Gutierrez, or Marali Gutierrez if you can roll your R's, but you can call me either. I am here and I run a nonprofit in the Falls Church area of Mason District. And I know that FCPS has several efforts to ensure continuity of learning services and to address students' academic needs, to maintain health and safety of students, address the wellness needs of students, to include their social, emotional, mental health, and other needs. Thank you for everything that you do and for the seats that you hold and the influence that you have and the resources that you steward. This evening, I just want to share a story of a young man who I'll call Mario. I met with Mario and his parents about 2 weeks ago, and I've known Mario since he was in 2nd grade. Mario is now in 6th grade. He is one of the brightest students in his class. He could excel and advance beyond his grade level. And Mario goes to Glasgow Middle School at 7:15 in the morning. The bell rings, and he knows that he will not be using the bathroom until he gets home at 2:30 or 3 p.m. But Mario is not alone. There are other students that stay away from the restrooms, that are afraid to go to school on a daily and weekly basis. As Greg shared, children are afraid. And so I appeal to you this afternoon, this evening, to please, please, please do something for these children. Their parents are concerned, their parents are looking for other options, and they are very limited. But we have the resources to be able to do something. So in the last 10 seconds, I want to ask you tomorrow at 7:30 in the morning, I want you to refrain from using the restroom until 3 p.m. Thank you.